We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it!
Something in the air, always something in the air. Inexplicable, I can feel it in the air. Can you feel me?
Oh my goodness, that's they now can't come. Put it deep, and that's another high.
And it's smacked away and picked up off the wobble! The third Hello and welcome to the third placement game in the mixed division. European Youth Ultimate Championship action. Christina Obermeyer and I will be joined by Stefan Pazzo, who is now shown on your screen striding towards me as he instructed the players to not stand in front of us for us to see the best, to get our best perspective in the middle of that pitch.
And how's everybody doing back home? I'm sure great. Thanks, Christina, for bringing us in. Just giving my last bits of information to our wonderful youth competing for this dirty gold medal, this bronze medal match. France versus Italy in the mixed division. Christina, what excites you?
Everything. I think I'm always a very excited person when it comes to those youth matches because we see young players show their talent again and again. We've seen that all week and it doesn't stop here. Third place, you called it dirty gold. Of course, they won their previous game, the semifinals, but they're still up to win one last game in the division, that is bronze. We've seen these teams before. They played each other on our stream. And let's say France took the better of Italy, 15-7. It was quite a big margin. But over the course of this week, Italy have grown together as a team and might just show us, I want to call it an upset over this French team that previously lost to Hungary. Italy on their side lost to Switzerland rather convincingly 15-8, and the game between France and Hungary was a bit closer, 11-14.
France's only other loss looks like it was to Switzerland, who have also qualified for the final now. So I would happily accept your assessment that the Italians are the underdogs here. They lost 4 times in pool play But they started getting better and better all tournament long. And, okay, their last game, a little bit of a differential. The Swiss did beat them pretty good, but the Swiss at their finest at that moment as well.
And if you want to get very specific with all these match stats, both of the teams played Switzerland to Universe Point before. So we'll see what kind of team we will get today. It's not quite conclusive, as it often is in these week-long tournaments. You have your ups and your downs, and we'll hope all of them put on their best performance in order to get a medal.
Here they come. The French have the disc first. Caron moves that one on. Perez goes forward, gets a reception going to the earth. Cruzat back to Perez. Chantron moves it forward. Good, quick pace by Perez, demanding the disc as he streaks down the center. Caron, backhand into the hands of the 13 shirt. That's Fernandez with the goal. The French do it quick and easy for their first ask.
Indeed, that was great flow, moving the disc from one side to the other, and not afraid of the Italian defenders bidding left, right, and center through them. Good defensive pressure from the Italians to start. Also like the fact that they started with a matchup defense to really get into the game and get firing. But the French don't seem stifled by it, as Caron puts in that round shot into the end zone for Fernandez.
Italians doing interesting line calling in the middle of the field.
Of course, an additional coach arrived this morning, Carmen Lagala,
Yes.
who of course plays for BFD Shout, as well as Rimini.
And that Irish club, she's part Irish too, I think. I saw her for Margarita Mixed.
Indeed, she
on
has
the
a gold
beach.
medal.
She must be Irish. Oh, maybe that team wasn't completely Irish.
Well, I thought she was. Did you see her complexion? Of course, she's Irish by birth.
Yes, but of course. And the Italians' O-line is now out there after being called from the middle of the field. And here comes the French pull. Negre sends it, and it lands out of bounds into some bikes. And that'll be picked up by Mariani. You got to contend with some suitcase traffic going past him there.
Of course, the last game on this area, at these pitches, last day, and then tomorrow we'll be back in the stadium for all the finals.
I've loved it here. It's been wonderful at Eugenio Sports Complex, but I can't wait to get back to the stadium.
Same.
Totti to Gelli. Gelli, Mariani, and Gelli again. Stall count mounting here, and Gelli jacks it to Totti. Totti rises, reads it best, and bests Thomas Pinerio, and collects the goal for the Italians.
Totti is the stats leader for this Italian team. 13 goals and 9 assists combined, a total of 22 stats for him. 23 if you count that one, and we will count that one, as it's a first clean hold of Italy as well. We saw him not having quite the best game in the morning, and I want to lean out of that window and say that might be why Italy didn't perform quite as well either.
Quite possible indeed. That last grab though by Totti, a screamer.
Indeed, rising high over his defensive matchup.
1-1. Tough to keep track already of the score. Not really. It's just been a lot of ultimate. There's the pull. Malaguti sends it to the other end. It'll land and roll. And a good pull. I'm surprised there was no chase to kick that down before it rolled out before the cone.
Indeed, that is very good field position. It might have landed out of bounds, though, as the French marched it to the brick.
Yeah, fair. So if it landed out and rolled back in and out, I guess. Because it was definitely at some stage in.
I agree.
Here come the French. Filami gets it forward to Hérault. Sent all the way across. And the French go backwards to Caligaro.
It's very typical Italian zone setup of one chaser and then four and kind of a, and three others to make it four and kind of a first row cup defenders.
Shot into the middle. Mendley moves it quick. Now Pinheiro. Oh, nice snag there. Clean up by Caligaro. Look back. Nice and quick. Charix. Not quite in. Back to Caligaro, and we've got a stoppage on the field.
A foul call, clicking the heels of Chabot. No. Wrong number there. Mondley argues he got pushed a little bit too far by the Italian defender.
Caligaro. Charix. Finds Filami. Filami goes back. Caligaro. Charix. Pinheiro. Mendley. The French boys at the back of this zone. Getting a lot of touches right now. Mendley. Still can't find the open receiver in the end zone. He gets stepped over by the Italian defender. Looks like Marchesini accepting the obvious foul. Mendley leads forward, and Charix collects the goal for the French.
Good compression by the Italians, switching up the defense early. But what great work by them to run through and just not be pressured quite enough, although some of those marks were pretty tight and pretty contact heavy, but that's okay, they accept it. 35 passes for that hold, a clean hold as well for the French. And we've seen them go, I think it was something around 30 passes just in their red zone, so just in front of the end zone. I remember that from one of the games because I thought that was very impressive for a youth side like that to be this clean with the disc.
Yeah, very tidy. The more I watch these youth sides play, the less I imagine for a youth side because they just keep impressing. Yes, it's legit. For a youth side, they are good, but they just keep legitimizing themselves, proving how good they really are at this ripe young age. And the French pull is low and burns a couple worms on the way to the ground. Novelli picks up. Cicchetti. Gelli, nice lateral cut. Gelli gets Totti going to the ground. He gets a whole bunch of body from Fayour. And they're back up and playing like nothing ever happened. Novelli gets the throw. Santalena had a long stall count. Now Novelli again. And he's up over the halfway mark of the stall. Shoots, floats. Totti coming, but it's Fayour who knocks it away out the back of the end zone.
Of course, Totti had to make sure his feet were still in bounds. Fayour, on the other hand, can run out of bounds to make that defense get up earlier, which, of course, it gives him more space to work with.
Bit more of a get that disc out of here kind of mentality for the chasing defense. So Italy-France in every gold medal game was something that people believed might happen. In this case, bronze in the mixed division is what they fight for. Cicchetti calls the timeout. And it's only worth mentioning that because the open and women's division do see an Italy-France matchup. We've told you about the gold medal matchup here in the mixed. They're still fighting for bronze. They've called the timeout, Christina. They got lots to talk about at this stage already.
Apparently. I think it's clinical, very important for Italy to stay clinical. That's what I wanted to say. They have to hold here, I believe. Otherwise, you open the door for the French, and you don't want to do that again.
Yeah, don't open doors for opposition. Not a good idea. We're going to take a break, too. We'll be back shortly after this timeout with more action from the bronze medal match in the mixed division. Currently 30 degrees, feels like 300 here in Padova. It's 2-1 France over Italy, and the Italians taking a timeout after a couple turns when they got the disc back on the goal line coming up in front of us.
I like the idea of cooking up something, making sure everyone is on that same page and not rushing through to, you know, get stuck on a sideline or having to do something fancy again, although we love to see the fancy.
Yeah, we do love the fancy. Cicchetti, oh, violation.
Maybe someone moved too early.
Cicchetti. Dumps back, Santalena. Leading throw, not there, Totti. Backhand high for Gelli. And the Italians score, tie things up at 2.
And that took more passes than I probably thought it would. Not a lot, but if you have to get in front of the end zone, I would probably think she'd want to put it in herself, but instead she went back around and went for the dump, which I like. It's a good option.
Yeah,
And then
I felt like those options, yeah, it could have been a bit quicker, but in the end, the amount of resets was good. The throw for score, I agree, felt like it was a little bit floaty, indirect, but where only the Italian receiver could get there.
Exactly, Gailey really climbing the ladder to get that pass up for the Italians 2-2. And they managed to get back their first break chance on a reset. The French first break chance, of course.
So the Italian pull comes by way of Alice Ravasio and lands in the hands of Perez before moving on to Caron. Ooh, Perez makes a play. A simple return throw needed a spectacular effort to keep possession. Perez to Caron. Now moved on again. Guénoun back to Perez. And the French trying to find a way around the ever-present Italian zone. Marchesini bumps on the mark. Perez. Fayour. And a trailing edge grab there by Guénoun. Back to Perez. Fayour.
Again, such quick and clean work from the French. Moving around that Italian zone, not really letting the approaches set properly.
Internal throw to Perez. Fayour. Caron widens the field with the throw to Guénoun. And now back to Caron. Leading to Perez. Sniffing out that end zone. Caron to Perez. Caron again. A little lateral movement. That one in for goal. Or is it? Not quite yet. Perez, they keep thinking about it. Italian stay in his zone. The blammer lands on the spot. And the French cash in. It looks like Monerat with the goal there for the French.
Indeed, that French. Is that Blady Hammer?
Yes.
A blammer?
Yes.
I
Sorry.
love that.
Good. It's part of the Woojin collection.
I love that. It's a perfect description for what Perez put up in the air there. Hold on with a clap catch by Monara. And that one pretty tough to catch, to be fair, because it can easily just slip out of the fingers.
Yeah, it's a tough one to lock the thumb inside the disc. To get any piece of the rim, you really just got to get under it when it's blading down at you so fast like that. It does compromise most of your traditional catching lessons.
Of course, all of these players are nifty enough to not only get the easy catches, but also make the hard ones work.
So, tie game. No, it's not. 3-2 for the French. On serve?
Yeah, indeed.
We are on serve.
One break chance, I think, for the French, but other than that, clean.
Italians have their chance. Uh-oh. Maybe lost their chance. Did that get picked up? Goodness gracious. Mother of Mary. Battalino picks that up out of nowhere. Gelli with the disc. Gelli around to Cicchetti. Back to Battalino and sent to end zone. Gelli has to compete. Second effort is too far out in front.
Jumping high and then getting low for the second attempt. Gelli really showing us his body control, but that one just a huck and hope kind of throw.
And the French coming out of their own end zone. Help defense. Hoo-hoo almost got in the way, but no, Mendley gets the next pass. And the French get away with one there.
It does seem like he's holding his back Back leg is hamstring, I believe that's called.
Indeed. Shobo moves one around, and it's Caligaro. And there's a stoppage on the field.
I do think Mondley is still thinking about calling that injury, you know, but I think he decided to stay on the field.
Disc is back in. Shobo. Now moved on. Pinheiro, the disc has gone deep. Looks too deep, and Totti won the race, and he celebrated as though he had blocked off. The bid still came, and there was a chance. There is a foul called. The crowd doesn't like it.
The crowd might be a bit biased towards the Italians.
Yes, I think so, but I'm not sure I necessarily saw the foul either. Let's look again.
I didn't see anything. I'm excited for seeing that for the first time. Totti won the foot race for sure.
Oh, I don't think Totti fouled him. I don't think Negre was fouled. I think Totti was a little bit foolish to celebrate early and would have been burned had that catch stuck in his hand. But I can't see where the foul occurred.
Unless it was a bit earlier in the run already, which I didn't see either because Totti beat him to it, and that one is going to be retracted, but players talking about it. And it did seem like he got fingertips on it, but then ground stripped himself and might have touched Totti on that fall down, but he had nothing to do with that contact, at least in my opinion, had nothing to do with the fact that he dropped it or ground stripped it.
Back in Italian hands on the goal line. Ooh, too high, but Gelli's got some sticky fingers. Hangs on to that one. And then throw very high for Totti, who makes a play over Pinheiro. Watch out for these two. They're having a battle. Italians get it forward again. Into the hands of Battaglino. Oh, that's a bit of a speculator, but Gelli makes a play on it.
Highlight after highlight in this point, and that's also where these discs have to be put. The French just so close on defense.
There's an under. Simonazzi continue to Totti, and another bit on the hip. Now the leading throw to Simonazzi. Does she have it continue? Not quite yet. Now she'll look to the backfield. No, keeps eyes forward and finds the open receiver in the smallest of cutting lanes is Valentina Santalena for the goal.
In the end, that came a bit easy, involving the women into that highlight-prone point. And they get it for the first score we see. I think the men's and women's sides on the open and women's side, of course, of that Italian team in the stands cheering for their mixed side. You see that big play out of Gelli. And then the continuation for the point. After really putting pressure on the break side of things, so closer to us, the open side lanes got very open for the women this time around, and they managed to hold, if not cleanly. French got it back off of them again. All holds so far, 3-3. And this game hasn't been going for a while, but it seems really expensive, and both teams struggle very hard to actually put scores in. That's why, for me, it just seems a bit longer than it has been.
But 72 minutes do remain, so we're just under 30 minutes played. 100-minute games here, or to 15, whatever comes first. If it is the time that comes first, we add 1 minute to that, or 1 point to the highest score, and that becomes the new points cap because of the time cap. easy, isn't it? Let us know back at home if you agree. While you're at it, like and subscribe. Here come the French, Pinheiro and Totti, those two 10 shirts back at it again. Pinheiro jacks it! The chase is on and it's gonna work! It does! Charix goes down and finds the disc in both hands by the time he gets there.
What an impressive layout. That disc just put into space perfectly and run down by Charix. It did seem like he didn't have to lay out necessarily, but making sure the disc sticks with him and in his hands, he goes down to ground. As we have another shot of the crowd that has now filled, like the bleachers have filled. Especially because that's one of the few points you can get shade in that afternoon sun.
Oh yeah, it is blazing. Another look. We can watch this again from every angle, especially this wonderful drone angle.
Just a perfectly set up deep shot.
Boom, hits the ground. Charix with the goal.
I like the composure of that as well. It was just 3 players really working it, and the rest was on a side stack quite near our booth to just wait and see what happens. Probably get involved at some point, but if you have the legs and just 3 players, why not play it with them?
And back into the hands of Mariani and the Italians. They are trying to keep pace with the French, who are dictating the pace here.
And then they're screaming on the sideline as well.
Their open teams running the sidelines with them. Marchesini goes to center. Cicchetti to Marchesini. And a foul called on that block.
Cicchetti arguing she had the disc in her hands. It was a laser throw, of course, but that one, and just in front of the Italian, and the French defense was right there with. They're just attacking the same space, both of them. Couldn't really see the specifics of it.
Wow, it's really tough to see if like there's a charge through there. I think it's blurred screen. It's tough to say. I think there must have been, but it's not conclusive. It goes back to the Italians.
I think that is the right outcome here.
Malaguti, Santalena, Malaguti, Cicchetti. You can almost sing through these Italian names sometimes. Mariani gives and gets. Now Marchetti to Cicchetti. Santalena. Cicchetti, Marchetti, the Italians using their female matching players very well right now. Mariani to Santalena, and now to Marchesini. He stretches the field. Oh no, he doesn't! What a bid there. The French defense blows the door open, and that is a huge defensive bid by Chantron.
Flying through, and with so much space still for him.
Chantron goes high for Perez, and that's going to get eaten up by the bigger defenders, Marchesini, but also Mariani was in the neighborhood. Cicchetti. Now inside, Marchesini cuts through a hole in the zone. Marchesini goes back around. Santalena. Marchesini. Flipper to Mariani. And now Malaguti. Backhands up the line. He's got a bit of time, but he can't be too careful because the defense is coming. Now the shot for goal. That one to Malaguti. The Italians answer back. It's 4 apiece. All tied up here in Padova.
Indeed, and it does seem like the French are a little cleaner when it comes to offense, but they haven't quite found the switch from defense to offense yet. When their defensive line gets a block, gets one of those amazing plays, they haven't yet managed to take a breath and cook something up that will work for their offense.
Always good to take a breath. Can help you every single moment on that field. I mean, we're forced to breathe, I guess.
I was just going to say also, if you don't, we kind of die.
But to take a conscious breath. To feel yourself breathing. I think a timeout has been taken. I don't see where it came from. But look at that highlight. Marchesini, he milked that and then hung on by the hair of his chinny chin chin. And then drops that dime to Malaguti. We're going to take a quick break with the players. We'll be back by the time this timeout's over. Don't you go anywhere. Thanks for joining us.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my, somehow they do it!
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Four apiece here in Padova. Clean holds. There you see the scores on the screen. We had a small glitch with our stats collecting, and our expert statsman Elliot Geraldine kept everything up to date with some manual stat taking and has got it all in our system. It is a pleasure to have that kind of work and that kind of information because of it. There's the break chances, 3-0 for the French, but it's still on serve. Fayour guns one up the line. That's caught by Fernandez on the doorstep. Can he punch it in? Not yet. He goes into the dump space. Monerat throws for goal. Chentron collects, and the French continue to dictate, and maybe with a bit more ease than the Italians, despite this game staying level pagans.
Indeed, the French just seem to run with everything the Italians throw at them even. There is some tension, there is some intense defense as we saw here. Nearly a block by the Italian defender, Ravasio. But that one held on to by Monera, and she adds an assist to her previous goal.
Gentron, the scorer again from Monerat, the assist thrower. There she is on screen with a goal and an assist already to her name in the early stages of the game.
Of course, the French Olan has not turned over that disc yet, which is really impressive. I think you mentioned it, but just very good offense by them. The Italians have always gotten it back, which is also commendable. And yeah, a few passes made by the French on the counter-attack, so to say, every time they got that defense off of them, but not really a lot, not making a difference yet. And I think for that first break, that'll really dictate the rest of the game. Whoever will get the first break will have a slight benefit.
Malaguti boosted Panizio, and one, that was 3 throws, I think, but 2 or 3 before the defense was set, and 1 boost after it was set, and the Italians break one open with ease themselves.
Indeed, 3 throws, and that one just picture perfect into space. What they are doing far better now, and I will reference the game we saw of them again and again, is use the space. They use the space much better to isolate players. We saw that every now and again once when a French side played zone against them, that there was maybe 2 to 3 people in the same space, but with that horizontal structure and matchup defense, the Italians are really doing a great job at isolating players either on the open side or in the deep space, and making sure that not only the help defenders but also like the actual defenders of players can't really get to where they want to put the disc to.
5-5, back and forth they go. Trading points. And the Italians will now pull to the French, who dictate. Of course, if this game goes on like this and there are no breaks, the French will end up winning based on the benefit that they got from the flip. However, there is so much that can happen to change that initial momentum. Advantage rather than momentum. There's the under. Pinheiro goes back. Filemi, and Pinheiro gets it again. Maillard. And shot in, not quite for goal. Picked up by Guichard. And now in. That one. These offenses are clicking now. Pinheiro collects the goal, 6-5 in favor of the French.
Indeed, what a way to move that disc along. I don't think anyone held it longer than 2 seconds. And of course that one shot, the hockey assist, so to say, was a bit thrown behind the intended target. That flick just released a bit early, but Guichard holds on to it, and with that lefty flick, serves it on a platter for Pinheiro. And that score. They only walked it down that near side. Again, open side passes all along for the French.
So at 6-5, there's another look at Paul Guichard as he puts his first stat on the board with that assist. Italians, pressure moves back onto them as they need to level things up with a hold here.
And of course, the more these holds work out, the more pressure it puts on the single players or the offensive players, because there has to, I mean, maybe in their heads there has to be a break at some point, and you really don't want to be the team that gives up the first break.
No, sorry, Bob. There's the ball. Santalena lets it go to ground, and then to Novelli. French zone, no surprise. Marchesini goes under. Ooh, and a tumble in the middle of the field, but looks like they're playing on. No, they will stop because of it.
An accepted foul, a French player on the ground and tying his shoe again.
And here comes Italy. Marchetti up and turned over, picked off by Negre. And now back to Perez. He calls the timeout.
Good call, in my opinion. Just chilling, making sure everyone's on the same page to play offense. Of course, it was in flow, so they could have played on, but also in these situations that are so valuable. It's only the fourth time the French got the disc back in a rather long period of time, and yeah, we'll see what they cook up.
We'll see what they cook up. We'll be waiting to find out more in that time. We'll take a break. Make sure you're back by the time we are. We'll see you then.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
And back into play here. Perez with the disc. Flanked by Negre and Fayour. And the first cut doesn't work. The second, he gets Fayour in the backspace. Now the forward momentum to Guénoun. Perez. To Monerat. Monerat, oh, and almost falls down, does Fayour. Perez, oh, floaty but handled by Cruzat. Fayour. French on the doorstep. Hoping to break here. Would be the first of the game if they do. Negre with the disc. Into space, it's Fayour, not a goal. But that one is. Cruzat collects. And the French break first in this bronze medal match.
And they break to make it within one of half-time as well. The perfect timing for a break like that. And I mentioned them being very clinical in their red zone in previous games, and that one again took 15 passes and not a lot of space, but so much composure by the players going around from one side to the other, and that one collected by Fallour and then put into space into the end zone for Cruzat, who had an impressive play earlier in the point, getting really high. Sometimes see people that are tall not really using their height, not really jumping because they're tall anyway. But nothing like that can be said about Cruzat, who gets her first score of the game.
7-5, 2-point lead for the French. Biggest lead of the game thus far.
There's not a lot of risk taken by both sides in terms of, like, all these throws that we see, they're just calculated. And they back their receivers to make all of them, where I think Hungary and Switzerland, who we will see in the final tomorrow, are a bit more daring with these shots. Because I was just thinking, a game as clean as this one, that's really tough not to be in the final but play such good Frisbee.
Yep, at least they get the little final here. Le petit finale, as they say in French. Totti comes under. Upline avails itself. Nanetti spins around. Upline from Novelli. Novelli surveys options. Chentron on him. Cicchetti! Too far for Nanetti's layout.
Perfect form on that though. Launched early and wide.
This could spell trouble if they get another break to close out the half. Chentron jacks it. That one's up. It's hanging. A few bodies. Cruzat, the intended receiver, and Cruzat comes down with it. Goes to it quite aggressively, and that makes 8 on the board for the French.
That game turned quickly with the favor on the French side. 2 breaks in a row, both of them not giving it back to Italy at all.
Now both, I mean, that second one, this one we just saw very, very lethal in their counter-strike. 2 throws, the big shot comes. But first, another look at how the Italians gave it back to the French.
Launched a little too late. Seems like that disc was already gone when he was ready to lay out.
And there's the Chentron huck. It floats a bit too much. There's a bit of company, but Cruzat handles it very well and deals with all that pressure. Shall we see it from another angle? Yes, of course we shall.
It was very high. The player who threw that was leaning back a bit too much, causing the disc to get up as he releases it, and then wind came underneath it and put it up higher into the air.
Wow, with that at 8-5 and halftime taken, we're going to take a short break here too. We'll be back for second half action. Make sure you're with us. In the meantime, like, subscribe, become a patron, and all that other good stuff. We'll see you in the second half.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it! Oh, look at that beautiful backdrop there. The rolling hills, the green fields. It's just a beautiful place to be here in just outside of Padova. And even nicer getting that beautiful overlay of our match stats. It's going to go away because we're back into play, but love having Force Ultimate powering our stat making here. Malaguti and the Italians need to hold at minimum. Gelli. Marchesini. Gelli cuts into a very tight window and then puts one wide and around. Malaguti's there. French defender got in front, but Malaguti stayed bigger. Now Totti will try his hand against the next defender, and it's knocked away by Negre.
What a great matchup between the two. They have been going at it, the two number 10s, for most of that game, just really pressuring each other, and that one works out in favor of the French as the few break chances in that game, 5-0, as the Italians get it right back.
And now Marchesini bops it in. The Italians get their hold, not the way they wanted, but a hold is a hold is a hold is a hold.
Indeed. We could add another is a hold on there, and it's still the right thing.
You got it, Christina.
Oh yeah, so 0 big chances for the Italians so far. That is going to be lethal for the rest of that game. Who gets more big chances? Are the Italians out of contention? Probably not. Anything can happen in a game of Ultimate, but all the benefits so far has always come to the French.
French asserting the dominance that they have so far in this game, getting the 2 breaks in the first half to close out the first half, in fact. And the Italians doing a very good job to start this second half with a hold, no matter how they do it. Yes, a clean hold, a dirty hold. The difference, of course, between a clean hold and a dirty hold for our viewers at home that are new to the game, Christina?
If you have to play defense, essentially, if you do not turn the disc at all and march it all the way down the field from one side to the other, that's considered a clean hold.
On your first try.
On your first try. So no interference by defense whatsoever. And then a dirty hold, so to say, is if you have to play defense for a little bit, but then get it back and still get the point you were going to get from the beginning on. You deserve, so to say.
I see. So the hold after a couple turnovers at least.
course, some other closing games, last games of the tournament going on around the pitches. We still have placement games in the open division and in the women's division to come, but I'll update you after this point.
Negra takes that one through Felemi and now Pinheiro. Fernandez. Pick called on the field. Fernandez. High stall count. Flicks one into space. Negra handles it against Totti. Then puts one in front. It's Pinheiro. And back to Negra. That one in front. Negra back to Cherex. And now Pinheiro zips one forward. Cherex goes backwards. And a few look-offs there. Then Eruard to Cherex, now Pinheiro. And that one thrown between everyone. And not gonna get it that time. They give it to the Italians.
Probably in between Pinheiro or Chabot, the two intended targets, but that one, the first time the French O-line have turned over the disc.
There's always a first for everything. Italians, oh no, they've given it right back.
And a first throw turn gives the red zone back for the French. And we have seen how clinical they can be, especially in those last few meters before the score line.
Negre goes to Filemi. Oh, and that one just bailed out, went through Chabot and picked up by, not sure, but the next throw goes for goal. Fernandez slap spikes it, and the French get a dirty hold.
Indeed, the first one of this game, I already mentioned it, I'm going to mention it again, is very impressive to get so many clean holds. And Cherex, I think, bailed out the throw there and then put the disc into the end zone for the score for the French. It's been really impressive to watch him play. Very athletic young man. See him go low, doesn't have to lay out quite. Of course, he already got 2 goals and adds an assist to that. See the Italians call their lines in the middle of the pitch so that not everyone has to run towards that end zone line. I think that's a very good idea, to make everyone meet in the middle and not have them run nearly a 80-meter sprint to be there in time to listen to whether their name is called or not.
Checking in on our chats, all you at home. Love seeing you there. Would love for you to spend some of your energy liking this game. While you're at it, hit the bell, get your notifications, because we know you've already subscribed. And if you haven't, do that too. Malaguti gets it forward. Santalena to Simonazzi. That one thrown behind Novelli, and the French slap it away. That's Mendley with the block. French trying to get another break on the board. This would be huge.
Indeed, it would really set the tone for the rest of this match. It could be 10-6, and it does. 9-7 sounds very, very different to 10-6.
Can the French pull it off? Fayour. Shot for goal. That does count. They have pulled it off. A second half break to go with the pair of the first. And it is a 10-6 game, Christina.
Indeed, it is just beautiful offense by the French. I'm going to say it again and again, but I'm not really surprised the way they're dominating this game right now. They have the better energy. They are focused. It only took them 5 passes to score, whereas the Italians also lost it in 5. Just very efficient, and yeah, well, just love to see it. Of course, both these nations are used to the hot weather.
Looks like it, but I don't actually think so. French are still on the line. I think Italians looked.
Like a timeout?
It looked like they had taken a timeout, but the French were not aware. Now the French have come aware, as have we, and we will take this timeout and be back when they are. Six the scoreline. France with 4 breaks in the last 6 points. 3 breaks in the last 6 points and a hold. But they are getting strong in this middle section of the game, what would be a middle section of a game before and after the halftime. And Italy are going to need to respond.
Indeed, it is now their time to get going, to really find some energy left in their bodies. And they're showing offside.
It's funny the French went offside after they had a run up and stopped and went again and still went offside. Are they really? Oh, that one is, they are really splitting hairs on that offside call.
Not often seen one contested, to be honest.
Nanetti. Totti, but the defense gets there first. Fayour. with a sensational leaping D.
Indeed, another matchup to try and stop Totti. Instead of Negre, it's Fayur this time.
Fayur gets the disc. He goes. Giuliano gets the Totti option.
That one caught way behind the player.
That's it. And the next one is on the doorstep. Loyacono.
A discussion about the stall count, maybe?
Into Cicchetti. Quick movement there. Balista goes back to Cicchetti. High stall count. Balista comes back. Throw to corner. Totti's there. Italians get the 7th point. They needed that one.
They really did, and they nearly gave it up. But Totti putting the team on his back, getting the D and the score for them. So bookends. And Gaston Fayur was on his hip, even laying out by the end of that, just not quite there. Not in front of him at least. Not getting the better of him, and Italy scored their 7th point, whereas France are up 10. Of course, you are owed some stats, some game updates. From me, currently in the Open Division, Austria playing the Czech Republic on field 4 right behind us. That's where you can hear some cheers every now and again. And also the Netherlands are playing Sweden, so 10-9 in favor of the Czech Republic. The Netherlands 12 over Sweden's 9, and Ireland playing Israel. Ireland 8, Israel 4.
Great
And
to
then
get caught up. What else we got there, Christina?
we got some more. Of course, we have this game, and then we have in the mixed division Belgium playing Poland. Belgium are currently up by 4, 12-8, which I think is a bit surprising. And then we also have in the placement games of the women's division, we have Great Britain playing Sweden, and Sweden are up 5 points on Great Britain's 4.
Floating down in front of the French handle. And that one received by Guichard. Maillard. Fernandez and back to Maillard. Negre with the disc. Chobot. Fernandez to Negre. Chobot. Backhands it into the middle. Or Caligaro. Then he jacks it, and all alone. Wow, Guichard had acres of space around him, almost expected the pick, but that is just blown coverage goal.
I was just going to say that. I was waiting for hands to come up showing the double bicep flex of a pick and wanting him to go back, but that disc also perfectly placed in that far corner. See Chabot put that disc into the middle, and then the perfect put by Caligaro.
Into the far corner, as you said. I would drive to almost any corner of the earth right now to get my hands on a Slurpee. It's 7-Eleven, Christina.
The Slurpee
And-
sounds like a very good thing to have right
Oh
now.
my good. The Italian Slurpee, of course, Granite. I would take that. It doesn't need to be a branded Slurpee. But crushed flavored ice, oh wow, would that be a treat right now.
But I would love to have some coffee ice. That'd be the perfect thing right now.
Well, you can they make Italian like cafe granite. It's that you can definitely get coffee slush here in Italy. How far do we got to go to get that right now, Christina? That's another question. Even our main man Elia might be put out a little bit. I don't think he could run the stats and go get the granite at the same time, but he's pretty talented.
He could also watch our live stream to get the stats, but it's far easier to have him right next to us.
Novelli. Next pass goes to Panizio. Panizio zips one forward and goes right through Gelli.
And the French trying to get up by 4 breaks now.
Caligari and the French hoping to break here. Maya goes forward. Inside shot into the hands of the awaiting receiver. That is the number 4 shirt of Gouet. And the French strike again. 12-7. They are extending this lead.
Quite a high scoreline already for another over half hour to play. And that defender on Gouet was so close to actually getting her hands on the disc that I'm a bit surprised she didn't go all the way, but a beautiful put. Meillard puts it in there to Chorex, and then that one just behind Gouet, but she manages to turn the body in the right moment and get that score. Again, it looks like a timeout, but not huddled up, so that might just be their typical midfield call.
Midfield line calling. It's a interesting tactic. Is it really a tactic or an interesting kind of team mantra?
It might just be preserving the energy of players.
It really is like that. Everybody's got to, especially if you get scored upon and you got to have that walk of shame, the long walk back the other way. Everyone can meet in the middle, and then the 7 called just do the rest of the walk on their own. I don't mind it. I've just never seen it.
And a confusion on the gender matchup. Of course, we are playing by the ABBA rule.
Right, this Swedish band has some impact on this game.
Just in terms of the name. So we have 2 gender ratios, 4 women and 3 male matching. So 3 female, 4 male matching, 4 female matching, 3 male matching players. And this has to be alternated in some way, otherwise it wouldn't be quite fair, right? So you have 2 points. You start with 1 point. That is A. Then you switch the gender ratio to B and play 2 points with that rule B, and then you play 2 points rule A, 2 points for B, and continue with that.
And that spells ABBA.
Indeed.
Italians, Mariani goes back to Novelli. Mariani far sideline. French women's team and men's team now making some noise on that far sideline.
I've heard these noises are made to stress out the offense, and were lately just displayed by the moon catchers, I think. Or maybe the Belgian national team where I heard it last. Not quite sure yet if I'm indifferent about this or if I don't appreciate it. But you
Throw
can
to Novelli. Novelli whips one deep. Panizio there. Is he in? Not yet. He retreats back to the line and tries to engage the next. Who he gets? It's Balista for the goal, and the Italians get their 8th point on the board.
I like the isolation in the end zone. Of course, everyone is striding deep to join the two, but Ballista had all the space in the end zone. Could have done anything and that to make that throw connect. He tried it in a little space, but good coverage there from Grusha. And then the break around, just too good. Too much space to put that disc in.
So can these French be stopped between now and the eventual end? Based on points, doing my quick math, and I've proven many times that I am no mathematician on these live streams, but this part I will get right. 7-2 or better from this stage on for the Italians, or the French are going to get themselves that dirty gold.
And I often think that 4th place is the most undeserving. You made it to a semi-final, which is really, really good.
Championship ambitions automatically in the semi.
You see the break chances 9-1. And that, one might just argue the French deserve it a little bit more, especially in that game we see now.
Perez goes back and forth. That with Caron, and now a big, expansive field widening shot to Fayour. Godon to Fayour. He goes to the inside. Guénun. Fayour again.
Fayour seems to be completely misregarded by all the players.
Blade hammer, Blammer, and a discussion whether that hit ground. Marchesini said yes. These types of plays we can normally help with. Let's have a look again. Ooh, I think it's up. It touched the grass, but I thought he had his thumb hooked first.
I agree. So usually when these plays go down, the disc moves further down when it touches the ground, but it seems to be sticking firmly in the grasp of the French player. We see that. He sticks and the disc doesn't really move. He has it first, I think. It's always tough to say, isn't it?
Yeah, they're not able to come to an agreement yet, or maybe they are. They're going to say down and a turnover. Very close and great spirit by Godon. I kind of thought up, but it was that close to call. There was nothing certain, even with our footage.
So at the first look at it, I thought it was up. Looking at it again, I started wondering. And that's fine, just whatever the players on the field decide is going to work for them.
So the Italians. Marchesini cuts up line, sticks it, Malaguti, but Perez! Help defense, step in front. And what a play there. Now him and Malaguti are going to have a chat about it.
He came from a very weird angle. The defense, the offensive player had no idea he was behind him, I bet. In a very good position though, they're a bit earlier than everyone else.
Yeah, good position to help Perez. Here's another look.
This almost looks like it's for him.
He had a hand on him just before he went up.
But
And if that's the foul, I can understand that by Malaguti.
I agree,
But
absolutely.
in the air, it seemed clean. But maybe putting the hand there, that put Malaguti in a stressed position where he didn't want to go up because of the contact. I don't know.
It always depends. So in the rules, I think it is that if both players can take a line towards a disc, and I think Perez started out behind Malaguti, but then ended up in front at some point. And I don't think this disc is claimed by anyone yet. And then there is contact, definitely. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell, and I don't want to be the judge of whether that's a foul or not. And I'm so glad that we do not have anyone who has to. judge and will judge indefinitely.
They're
but
gonna
it's the
come.
players.
They're gonna come look for themselves as we replay it once again, and the full. And we'll get one more look at that. And Malaguti says it's a turnover. I think the contact before that I mentioned was inconsequential. I don't think it affected. And then when they went up in the air, I do think Perez was very clean getting in front. He had the advantage as the help defender. He had the step, and I think he used his body position really well there.
Indeed, so France get it back. This is a hold for France.
And the French zip it the other way. Fayour is in acres of space. And just like that, it's 13-8.
It's a very fancy catch, towing an imaginary line. I think he might have. He thought he might have been a bit closer to the sideline than he was, but we love to see it. We love to see the body control, even if it wasn't that close. Just making sure you're not gone out by something. And thank you for. Oh, look at that! A perfect shot in between.
Oh. Perfect shot, luckily.
Kudos to Chips on Cam 2, who got that one.
Evaded the players who stepped in front of the 3-meter line. Another reminder to those of you lucky enough to play on our showcase pitches, respect that line at all costs. (13-8). France, comfortable lead, 2 away, 5 ahead.
Indeed, comfortable. Not quite as clinical as the first meeting of the two. As I've already mentioned, 15-7, so the Italians were already one better than at that first match. We see Fayour highlighted by our camera. 2 blocks, 1 goal, 1 assist.
Not a bad day at the office.
Not at all. Also, it's the second game of the day for both those teams, ending in high.
They are going to want cold showers tonight, I'd imagine. Ice baths. Isn't that the new trend nowadays?
I think it's good for regeneration. Relaxing your muscles or something.
Yeah, I like an ice bath. I've only done it on very few occasions, but I see it happening more and more, along with massage guns and the likes. Novelli looks to go around, and the mark by Fernandez denies it. There's also a pickup field. Totti goes deep, but it's still in the hands of Novelli. I thought it was going. Second offer, Gelli cleans it up. Now goes back Santalena to Totti. Totti goes to Gelli. Gelli winds up, goes for goal. Santalena cashes in. It's 9-13, Christina.
That throw floated so beautifully into that end zone. Many people underneath it, and I'm not sure Santalena really was the one target. Gelli just wanted to put it out of his hands as quickly as possibly. At least that's what it seemed like. But that works out easily for them. That's a clean hold for Italy.
Santalena with 3 goals on the board in this game. She's doing her part to keep the Italians close to in this. But they're going to need more than just that. It's 13-9, and a break is desperately needed at this stage for the Italians.
1-2 break chances so far, both of them in the second half. So We see the French slip up just the tiniest bit, allowing the defense of Italy to step in every now and again, but not connected on quite as many passes doing that. A combined 4 passes against them, which is just a great stat line.
Indeed it is. Love to have great stats coming at you. Love to have great stats as far as our likes and subscribes go. Those go a long way for us, so if it's easy for you, go on and do that for us, for the sport, for these athletes here. It helps everyone. Like, subscribe, become a patron, and follow us on the socials. Player down. Lo Giacomo, they still finish the play just in case. And it's knocked away, the Italian defender, but it is a stoppage way back at the point of the huck release.
That is a tough one. So is that problem of what happens now? Of course, the Italians would, in the case that they got the D there, say, oh, it didn't affect. But if the player hadn't stopped and fell down, I don't know if it was due to contact by his own ends and caught that injury. If that had worked, would it go back? Because he could have not thrown the disc along?
Yeah, I would be happy for the chat to help us out with the specifics on this one. I think, well, it's staying down there. The turnover standing on the reception end. I guess the 2 receivers were the only 2 that affected. They didn't stop. So the turnover goes in favor of the Italians in that end. We'll talk about how that may have gone differently should that have been a reception or an out of bounds. But for now, Marchetti and the Italians are going to try and break the French here, and that would be a nice start for them to know what kind of work is necessary to get all the way to the finish line here. Nanetti. Inside, Totti. Totti up the line, has Melfi. Melfi gets a nice cut, a double cut, and goes back and around. And that's smacked out of the hand of Nanetti. A awkward angle, but should have probably been able to squeeze that one.
The Italian player there, and a timeout called by France. I'm going to just finish that point quickly. The Italian reset, trying to go up the line. It was very open up the line and decided to turn back as a second one also came back to provide another option. And due to the fact that the first reset came back, it created a lot of chaos and a lot of space, and not a lot of space. And that defense was even possible.
Wasn't even possible. Let's see what is possible here after this timeout. We'll take a break, think about it. So will they. And we'll be back after these fine words.
We live in a world where everything can be referenced online. Imagine if the greatest moments in our sport were never filmed. Eurodisc continues to do what it takes to make free-to-watch live streams a reality. Let's leave nothing to the imagination. We'll consume the action live, and we'll support those that help to make it happen. If it wasn't streamed, it didn't happen. Eurodisc.
What a grab! Oh my! Somehow they do it! Get there. Yes, he will. The lovely did. on ULTI.TV. Lots to celebrate because of that. These games will live through the test of time. You'll be able to watch them archived forevermore. Leave it on the field. The task is 5-0. We said it before. They would have to be on a run of 7-2. That has now been turned to 5-0 to win. But don't think about the whole task. Think about 1 point. And what do we got to do right now? And how can we cut that into bite-sized pieces?
Something I think the French women's side and maybe the French mixed side as well do is play small games. Divide the big game up into small games of 3, games of 4. Get that one, get the next one. And I think that is very, very important for the Italians to also think, as you said, not do 5 breaks, but 1 point, 1 hold, then 1 break, another one, another one. And then we'll see what happens. It's universe. Of course, that is a dream.
Cicchetti to Malaguti. Novelli, far sideline, looking at a French zone. Cicchetti. Novelli. Gainer to Gelli, back to Novelli. Gelli. Santalena and Cicchetti. Novelli with the disc. Santalena goes back. The Italians get to the midfield mark and are slowed down a little bit. Great catch getting back to the feet by Suriano. And now Novelli goes far sideline. That's Balista. Novelli looking to middle. He's going to want to center this disc, but defense was good against Malaguti, but we've got a pick on the field.
That throw, of course, not contested by any defense, which isn't what we've seen this game, and the pick really explains that.
Cicchetti to Malaguti. It's out in front. The chance to win this game exists right now. This could be the first medal of EYUC. Should the French be able to put this one in? Caron strides to the disc. Caron to Fayour. Fayour gets a gainer, Medley. Now inside, Monera. Caron. Chentron back to Caron. Too far. Second effort. Fayour puts the body on the line and takes the bronze medal for the French. The whole delegation floods the field in celebration. The French have done it. Bronze medal and the first medal of the European Youth Ultimate Championships of 2023, Christina.
So it's secured. The French will get a medal in every division. A bronze medal in mixed. We'll see what happens for women's and the open, but that will be decided tomorrow. Just watching what kind of juniors programs the French can have worked these people through, and that is really impressive. The way they work, the way they held cleanly, and this one too far for one player, but picked up by another. Great form on that layout for the score. Gets up quickly to celebrate, and that one, Gaston Fayour redeems his team for the bronze medal in the mixed division.
The French program continues to push the youth development further and further. They were spectacular a year ago. They remain impressive this year, getting another medal in the division that they probably had a few struggles in comparatively because of how well they've gone in open and women's. This division seemed like almost a struggle comparatively. They haven't been perfect. They've lost a couple games, but they find ways to win. They found a way into the bronze, into the semis. lost again, found a way to get ahead at the midway mark in this game and found a way to win the bronze medal. The French mixed junior club looking very, very strong here in Padova.
Indeed, and that game just showing what young talent can do. Both these teams have players that are just 17 or even younger and have so much more to give in that junior division as well. It's not over for them, for the young talent we see in both French and Italians. And it's not over for bronze medal streams either. Austria playing the Czech Republic in the women's division next, 6 p.m.
No, I don't think so. And hats off to the Italians, of course. They left it all on the field. They did everything they could do. It was not quite enough to stand up to this tall task of matching the French, but the Italians are being applauded by their fans, deservedly so. They put up a heck of a fight, and despite the scoreline, deserve a whole bunch of respect from their opposition, from the fans at home, and from all the youth at this tournament for the performances that they've been able to put up and fight their way to this point as well.
Indeed, for under 20, just such clinical holds and clean breaks as well. It's one thing to hold your offense, it's another one to get clean defensive possessions, and we've seen all of it.
And looking across these stat sheets, of course, Totti had a big game for the Italians, as did Malaguti. The French side, there are many contributors. Negre, a big contribution, as was, geez, so many there. Chentron, Perez, Fayourde, so many players that did a wonderful job. We've got the French coach coming into the booth. French coach, how are you? Congratulations.
Fine, thank you very much. Sorry for my English.
Non, ça va, on peut parler en français.
Très bien.
Si vous voulez. Mais dis-moi, pardon pour mon français, mais on
très
va
bon.
essayer.
Meilleur que mon anglais.
Mais dis-moi, le premier mi-temps, c'est égalité. Jusqu'à 6-5 en fait. Et après, il y a 2 breaks avant le mi-temps. Expliquer ça, le momentum, quoi, juste avant le mi-temps, et ça, ce que vous avez dit dans le...
On leur a demandé de rester très serein, de ne pas s'énerver, que ça allait finir par tourner, qu'on avait fait des défenses qu'on n'avait pas concrétisées au début du match, mais que ça allait tourner, qu'on attaquait plutôt bien. Il fallait juste garder confiance, sérénité pour un moment ou un autre, on allait faire le break, et à partir de là, voilà, c'était l'équipe qui a la meilleure concentration, qui ferait la différence et s'envolerait.
Bah oui, c'est ça, le deuxième mi-temps, c'est 4 fois tu fais les breaks, c'était un peu plus fort. La deuxième mi-temps, puis il y a beaucoup de momentum. L'équipe, pour moi, il a déjà vu le bronze.
Le bronze, on l'a voulu. Hein.
Mais oui, expliquer un tout petit peu le deuxième mi-temps
la deuxième
et la domination.
Voilà. La deuxième mi-temps, je pense qu'on a l'avantage d'avoir un groupe très homogène, très physique, que ce soit les filles comme les garçons, très mixte. Et je pense que c'est peut-être ce qui a fait la différence, où je pense que les Italiens ont joué peut-être un peu plus entre garçons. Et du coup, les nôtres ont pris le dessus peut-être physiquement parce qu'on tournait un peu plus. Et voilà, je pense que la différence, elle se fait là. Petit à petit, on est resté concentré sur nos offenses, sur nos défenses. Voilà, on fait un super championnat. C'était ce qu'on voulait. On savait que voilà, l'idée c'était une médaille. On espérait peut-être, mais je pense que les deux autres équipes étaient meilleures.
Oui.
Voilà, mais je pense c'est une équipe très, très jeune avec beaucoup de moins de 17 ans. Et donc là, je pense que la différence, elle se fait là, un peu moins d'expérience collective. Mais pour aller chercher la cette médaille-là, la troisième place, ce groupe, ça suffit.
Ouais, super. Et parlez un tout petit peu, ce matin, vous avez perdu contre Hongrie.
Contre la Hongrie.
Et juste entre les deux matchs, c'est quoi ce que l'équipe a fait pour la mentalité, pour oublier le dernier match, expliquer la journée entre les deux matchs?
Bon, déjà, je pense que même s'ils étaient déçus, c'était pas la désillusion complète. Et l'autre équipe avait été un peu plus forte que nous, donc ils sont vite repassés sur le match suivant. On leur a dit que c'était l'équipe qui était capable de se remobiliser le plus vite, qui serait la plus motivée, qui voudrait le plus le bronze, qui l'emporterait. Souvent la médaille de bronze, c'est ça. Il y a une grosse désillusion parce qu'on passe pas en finale, et c'est l'équipe qui est capable d'être motivée, de voir vraiment cette médaille. Et je pense que là-dessus, c'est ce qui s'est passé, quoi. Mais on a un super groupe qui s'entend bien et qui avait envie de terminer l'aventure ensemble. Et puis demain, on a la chance d'avoir les deux autres équipes de France qui sont en finale. Et on voulait profiter de cette journée avec la médaille de bronze, absolument.
Magnifique, c'est la première médaille de la tournoi. Et c'est comme vous avez expliqué, mais c'est la première chance pour un pays pour attraper une médaille dans chaque division. Donc, félicitations, merci beaucoup. Faire une bonne célébration avec l'équipe.
On va
merci
bien profiter.
Pour tout.
Merci. Thank you very much.
Thank you for accepting my French. I do my best. Yeah, merci beaucoup. Great to get the French coach in there. I'm always happy to speak a little bit of French. It's not perfect, but we do our best. Great for him to be able to speak to the fans back at home and share some of the emotion of winning in his mother tongue. Get it all out there. Get all the feels out. Christina, a great game. Here's a look at the match stats. And we probably go to the bottom first to see the difference.
Indeed. 10 break chances for France, and 5 of them actually connect. So a 50% break quota is really good. That is elite even, maybe. Clean holds 7. That's also really impressive. And then the 3 break chances Italy actually got from them. Always only managed 1 turn, so also a very clean game in terms of turns.
Yeah, it was a tidy match by the French side. Italians just couldn't muster a break. The chances were limited, and that's a big part of it. But the chances they got, they had 1 very good chance that was so close. And, getting that one maybe changes the whole outcome of the game. It didn't happen. The Italians went down, and the French, asserted their dominance on that game in a very nice way to watch. It was a clean game, tidy, entertaining, lots of bids. These youth continue to impress me in every single division. The mixed, I find, really highlights their skill the most, their ability to show polyvalence and diversity in their game, ability to change and adapt, and the French did that well enough to earn themselves the first medal of the tournament, a bronze medal in the mixed division. I think with that, we're ready to give out a few more medals, but we're gonna have to watch another game and grind through another women's division bronze medal match coming up next. Christina's Austrians taking on the Czechs. Christina doesn't own the Austrians. She belongs to them, though. She's one of them, and she'll surely not show any bias in that game, will you, Christina?
No, I love the Czechs. I am friends with many Czech players and people, and I think it's just going to be a great match because we know each other so well. We play each other quite often. We're in the same region in the club division, and that makes the match even more exciting for everyone who watches it.
Looking forward to that. Of course, all the medal presentations tomorrow after the big 3 finals. Thank you once again for joining us, for liking, subscribing, and becoming a patron if you have chosen to do as much. I've been Stefan Rapazzo here with Christina Obermeier, Padova, European Youth Ultimate Championships. This game concludes. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you at the next one.
Don't be afraid, won't let you fall, girl.
Thank you. Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.